They're putting a lot of taxpayer money into this that could be going to our people, to people actually hurt by hurricanes. A lot of the same resources and companies that literally should be doing that work are instead putting their resources here.
There have been contractors going in and out of the facility that have their names and logos covered up with tape or otherwise like somehow covered up so people can't actually see that their company is helping to facilitate this.
Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup.
This is Ashley with Status Coup.
On the ground.
In Philadelphia.
Flint, Michigan. East Palestine, Ohio. Please support the leading independent news outlet on the ground,
covering what the corporate media covers up. Hey, it's Ashley Bishop with Status Coup. John Fried and I are on the ground in Florida. As you can see behind me, we are in front of the gate to Alligator Alcatraz, which has an official sign now. This was not here yesterday when John and I were reporting on the protest over the opening of the facility yesterday. So they just put this up. We came back here today, and along the way, we actually saw several other signs that say Alligator Alcatraz. I assume they're using this as a marketing, branding opportunity so they can sell, I don't know, more merchandise to profit off of people's misery. So lots of Alligator Alcatraz hats, t-shirts, that kind of thing. So again, behind me, there's the official sign. So the facility itself is open now. The $450 million facility is open, and there were already reports that it has flooded. So today, and I want to say yesterday as well, there were reports that the facility has already started flooding, which makes sense. This is in the middle of the Everglades. It rains here. It rains here, and the rain, runs off into the grasslands that are here. So I don't know. They threw this facility together within a matter of days. So they had been bragging that they threw it up so quickly. If you've seen videos of the facility itself, it's just a bunch of like metal cages with bunk beds in it to house people. I'm sure in, super crowded conditions. We have talked to people who have been, outside of the facility watching the trucks as they go past. There have been contractors going in and out of the facility that have their names and logos covered up with tape or otherwise like somehow covered up so people can't actually see that their company is helping to facilitate this. So we've seen that. Someone that we've been talking to who's been outside of the facility was also saying and showed us pictures of these like human waste tanks essentially that they saw going in. So, that is apparently how they are dealing with the issue of like human waste here, because the facility itself, again, there are reports it does not have running water yet. So does not have running water, which also means that they're not set up to handle any of the waste from all of the people that will be detained in this facility. So they have that going on.
The sewage situation that multiple people have already brought up, you can't put septic tanks in the middle of the Everglades. It doesn't work like that. I've said it earlier, like, guys, fools, this is our drinking water.
What happens when you put people in an environment? There is poop, there is pee, there is lots of other kinds of waste. Where are we going to go? So how many more trucks are going to be driving down this road? Right? Or are we just going to dump it in Everglades? We have such low amount of regulation around our environmental issues already. I'm not surprised that their plan is just to dump a bunch of shit in the Everglades.
They have flooding. They threw everything up in a matter of days, and it shows. So the facility is open. Again, we've been out here. It's very hot. There are mosquitoes like buzzing around. I already had to stop doing this doing this clip several times because there are mosquitoes that are, buzzing in and out of our faces. So everyone who's in there is going to be subject to that. And there's been no, I cannot imagine that there's any kind of actual legitimate planning because this went up in a matter of days. And we've been kind of watching that in real time as we've been here since Tuesday. You can help us to be able to do this more frequently by becoming a member at StatusCoup.com/join for as little as $5 a month. It's just like one coffee, and that helps to sustain independent journalism so that we can be out here doing, what journalists are supposed to do, covering these things that matter for regular working people. We are outside of the gate of so-called Alligator Alcatraz, where there is a small protest, and I am speaking with Faith, who found some lubbers who were attached to someone's car who was trying to leave this general area. So, Faith, why did you show up today to protest against the construction of this detention center?
Yeah, I showed up to stand with the Miccosukee folks. I showed up because this right now represents an environmental issue, economic issues, and of course human rights issues. The environment here is threatened. They're putting a lot of taxpayer money into this that could be going to our people, to people actually hurt by hurricanes. A lot of the same resources and the companies that literally should be doing that work are instead putting their resources here. I want to protect critters like this. There's a lot of folks right now that are being convinced that the Everglades is just something scary, just full of creepy crawlies. And I want to make sure everyone knows that this is a beautiful, loving place, that it takes care of us, and that this is not a place that should be tainted with the human rights violations that they are getting ready to commit here. People are saying they're just trying to bring criminals in. We all know the American judicial system has never just brought in criminals. We know already a lot of people are being sent overseas unjustly, sent to El Salvador, sent overseas, South Sudan, people just getting sent wherever. And so we know a lot of the people that are going to come in here are going to be people that look just like our family members, really might be innocent and are going to be tortured. And so I'm out here because I care about people, I care about the planet, and I feel like our tax dollars could be going a lot of better places. And I want to take care of little guys like this. So.
I mean, that was all really well put, and I think just, having the grasshopper, the lubbers here, Lubber, having them here just kind of underscores a lot of, what other people have said to me today, that, the Everglades are a beautiful ecosystem, and there's so much more to it than just, even the mangrove forests and stuff. There's a lot more. This is a ecosystem that has, habitats for different kinds of animals, different kinds of, tropical fish live here, panthers live here, bugs live here, which are, I have to say, they are cartoonishly cool looking. And you're not going to find this kind of stuff in other places. And again, even just the Everglades aren't just special in Florida, they are a special ecosystem in this hemisphere. So it's important that people fully appreciate that and fully understand that. And like you said, it kind of, the idea that there is a detention center that's going to be set up in the middle of the Everglades, in the middle of this really, again, just pristine, unique ecosystem in this area that supplies so much fresh water for people in Florida, that is going to be set up here. And as we know, there will be myriad human rights violations taking place there. Feels like an extra kind of kick in the face, just to kind of, not only are we destroying this area, we are destroying it for probably the worst of reasons that we could be destroying it for. And to one of your other points, the money that is being spent on this was earmarked for FEMA. We are entering hurricane season in Florida. From what I remember reading a few months ago, I could be wrong, but I do remember reading that this hurricane season is supposed to be a very strong one as well. So that money that should have gone to hurricane preparedness, to hurricane relief, which again, this is Florida. This happens. Hurricanes happen here with extreme force. All of the money that is supposed to go to that is instead going to this. It's instead going to a detention center where people will be detained. For, as somebody else said, the crime of trying to make their lives better. I don't know if there's anything else that you would want to add to that.
So I would agree. The hurricane seasons have kind of been getting more and more predictable as years pass, and that happens with changing atmospheric conditions that we've been seeing, as climate change progresses. There's those ways that Floridians aren't being taken care of because that money that's meant for FEMA is going here to lock more people up. And of course they'll say, well, the other detention centers are overflowing, instead of just arresting less people. And I think something that is really especially important to me to know about this land, when they talk about there's nothing out there but snakes and alligators, me and my friends, we go out here regularly and just walk into the water. I would walk into that water right there, and I would feel fine and I would feel safe because I know how the alligators see us. I know how they'll run away. You go in with a big stick, the snakes aren't going to bother you. So they're really trying to make it out to be something very scary. And this is even everything from the alligators to the pythons, this is a loving land. And so they're really trying to play on these tropes of, Florida as this crazy, scary place. Yeah, this is a beautiful place that, they want to make it seem scary. They want to play on the old historical tropes that Florida is a crazy, scary place. All it would take is telling however many 5,000 people in there, the fact that alligators will run from a human who is standing in water. As long as you don't swim, you're safe. So, all this propaganda they're saying, oh, no one can run away, give them a pamphlet, they'll be fine, Drop a pamphlet in a few languages, it would be easy to navigate this swamp. It's not that scary, but it is beautiful and it should be protected. So that's what I have to say, is they don't want people to know you can just walk into it. And they want people to be scared. But I think the more we know this is a beautiful place that loves us, the more we can give it the same energy and pass back and protect it. The reason why I know how to get out here is because my friends will just lead swamp walks, and we'll just go walk through, and I know it's safe. I trust the alligators. And that's why you'll see on a lot of the signs here too, people have alligators on their signs, and they'll have alligators crunching down on ice. And that's because we know that this land isn't a place that wants to be against humans. This is a place that wants to be in peace and in harmony with humans. So the alligator is a good symbol of that. We're not scared.